long hours, more than would be considered reasonable. They don't have union representation. And because of reasons like this, the United Nations, I believe it was last year, if I'm not mistaken, issued a report comparing our temporary foreign worker program to a form of modern slavery. Now, that's an exaggeration, but it's only a slight exaggeration.
Really? So, I mean, but most people are saying, well, that's a terrible thing. We still want to know what's going on with Canada. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to put you on the spot because you have to come up with the answers. You're with the Aristotle Foundation. Answers. Right back after this.
Okay. So the point I'm trying to, let you continue to listen to the problem. As I said in previous program, that Canada territorial border have 80% unutilized, undeveloped and unutilized. And the population of Canada, as everybody is speculating, is between 34 to 40 million, if it's up to 40 million. But the problem here is if Canadian territory is more than United States, and 80% is unutilized and undeveloped, then we are talking about overpopulated territory, as they proclaimed that 40 million is overpopulation. This does not make sense because the government can focus on development and infrastructural development to expand at least more 5% of the landmark so that they can be able to expand the population and make sure that those already groomed inside the country get their documentation, get work permit, work and pay the tax and contribute to the economy. What the media or the government is not telling you about the growth of the Canadian population, they can tell you how many babies does those claim that they are Canadian natural born produce in a year. Most of this population you are talking about, how many are immigrants? Now we're talking about over 3 million undocumented immigrants. Government is going to budget money to deport them and bring other people in, and after some months or years they need to deport them, bring other people in. Why can't the government normalize those already inside the system, make sure that they are in control of everybody inside the system, paying their tax, respecting the law, before they can be able to use these immigrants as an excuse? Now, everything a little bit relaxed because the election is not around the corner. But very soon before the election, the immigration topic will beef up again. I'm going to continue in a while I allow you to digest. If you are listening to the documentary research of the 50 states, you can understand that some corporate elites are diverting this immigration issue to be a problem of Indian immigrants. And the same thing I'm trying to tell you, that it depends on whom you listen to, you get different information. Now I'm going to let you listen again to see if the information you are getting is accurate.
On this edition of The Fifth Estate, how far are international students willing to go to get an education in Canada?
The average Punjabi family will have to work 74 years to pay 1 year's of tuition.
And how far will Canadian colleges go to recruit them?
The focus has been numbers driven, numbers, and that's all literally that anyone cares about.
We reveal the deception, selling dreams to desperate families.
We're going to be looking back at this in 20 years.
And how will we look back on this?
Just like a scar, like an exploitation of this specific group of young people.
And the toll that takes on students.
We have a connection with the one funeral home in India. They're sending back dead bodies.
What?
Each month.
I'm Mark Kelly in Toronto. Colleges and universities around the world are in a race now to recruit international students, and Canada is all in. So why the race? Well, post-secondary schools in this country charge international students 5 times the tuition domestic students pay for the same education. And we investigated and found what international students are told and what they're sold is a far cry from the Canadian dream they thought they were paying for. This is The Fifth Estate. These international students came to Canada full of hope. They were lured here with the promise of a better future.
On 17th of May, they sent us an official email from Alpha College, no one else. They are saying that we are unable to give you seats.
Instead, they're outside their college in Toronto, claiming they've been lied to.
Protest kyun chal raha hai? We need explanation.
Sold a second-rate school experience.
We come from our country to here with lots of dreams, with lots of hope. Like we think that college is our family. If college don't think about us, then who'll think?
And they want Canadians to know their story. Like all stories of hope, this one starts with a dream. Gurdeep Singh has spent years toiling on his family farm, growing wheat and rice in the breadbasket of India. It's backbreaking, lonely work.
Anyway, I'm going to stop.
But here's the payoff.
But I hope you have an idea of what I'm explaining to you regard to the issue of those coming here either for as an international student or they are coming here as a refugee. But I want government to, be accurate in terms of information given to the public. Also, because of the media being controlled by the government elite or the corporate elite, they're only giving information that is suitable to their own benefit. I will also want the public to, make their own research to understand exactly how this problem started, that those immigrants are not people that came here, without, with intention to damage Canadian society, but they are victims of circumstances. Because if the government does not know what they are doing, why can't they give those immigrants work permit and legalize them so that they can contribute to the system instead of using the money of the taxpayers, putting them in a hotel for months, for years, and paying them money instead of giving them a work permit for them to go and work and contribute to the economy. So people should be able to know who is fooling who regard to this. So that even before the Trudeau left the government, almost a year plus, before the election, when the crisis of Indian students arose, and which they managed to deport them. And if you narrow down this incident, you will understand that, India government and Canadian government have kind of tussle at that moment where they spell the diplomats. And what brought this incident is because most students that were asked to leave to Canada at that time were Indians. And those are people that came here as an international student, and they later claimed that their admission was forced. But who failed them on the system? Was the school? Was it the school or the government policy? I want you also to listen that coverage.
We pay taxes, we go back. ਅਸੀਂ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਫਰੰਟ ਲਾਈਨ ਵਰਕਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਸੀਪੀਪੀਆਂ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲੂਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭੇਜਣਗੇ ਲੜਾਂਗੇ
Thousands of international students in Canada now face an uncertain future as new federal immigration policies threaten their dreams of building a life in the country. Leading the charge in nationwide protests are Indian graduates, standing united against the Trudeau government's controversial policy changes. Over 70,000 recent graduates are now at risk, caught in the crossfire of a decision that slashes permanent residency nominations by 25% and imposes stricter limits on study permits. From Prince Edward Island to Ontario, Manitoba to British Columbia, the protests are spreading. The anger is palpable as Canada faces its largest immigration backlash in years. The changes come as Canada experiences unprecedented population growth. Federal data reveals that 97% of last year's population increase was driven by immigration, straining resources and igniting debates on the nation's capacity to integrate new residents. Criticism has intensified with cuts to the temporary foreign worker program and new restrictions on the work permits in areas of high unemployment. For many, the future in Canada now seems uncertain, with permits denied in regions where the unemployment rate is at or above 6%. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau defends the changes, stating, Canada must balance immigration with responsible integration. We are looking at the various streams to ensure Canada remains supportive of immigration, while responsibly integrating new arrivals and ensuring pathways to success for everyone. But advocacy groups aren't convinced. They slam the government's policy failures and demand fair treatment for the international students who contribute so much to Canada's future. As the protests continue, the world watches, waiting to see how Canada will respond to this growing crisis.
Is the projection of the former immigration minister,